The Clark Kent glasses strike again because it's Football Friday. Big Sills, how you doing? Yes, sir, baby. Happy Football Friday. Welcome aboard here to the National Football Show, and we are off and running. Oh, by the way, you know that guy you guys goof on sometimes, Jason Cole? I found out Jason votes for the MVP. I might want to be nicer to him. 5:30 Eastern, I'm going to ask him who he's going to vote for this year. You might want to be nice to him. You might want to go, hey, this guy votes for the most valuable player. All Hall of Fame voters vote for the MVP. How you doing? I couldn't believe it. He goes, Jace goes, yeah, I vote for the MVP. I'm going, all right. 5:30 Eastern. Eagles and Gigantes. No, I am not picking the New York Giants. I am not. I'm going to get into the preview here in a minute. God, do we have some great topics. Can't wait to get into those. God. Dear Lord, let's do this, though, here on a Friday. Ready? Xander, everyone. Dear God, thank you very much for Jalen Hurts, for being part of the content of the Dan Sileo show and being part of the Philadelphia Eagles and the success that they're having. Thank you so much, dear God. Amen. Please don't get hurt. Please do not get hurt, Jalen. Big Sills doesn't cover dudes like Gardner Minshew. Big Sills doesn't cover Tyler Heineke or Dimes Jones. Dear God, Dimes Jones, amen. Amen. Please, Jalen. Please don't get hurt. Absolutely not. Do not get hurt. Oh, my God. That would be a disaster. I need that guy. I want that. He's fun to cover, too, by the way. You know, isn't it a shame? Isn't it a shame that the national media doesn't really cover this kid more? Hey, you know what all the things that I say about him? At least I cover him. The national pundits, they don't watch Eagle football. They don't see the importance of what that kid has done. Hey, by the way, honestly, do I think Hurts has closed the gap with Mahomes? I do. Ask that question to national sports writers. They'll go, no. Even with the Chiefs losing last week. Okay? You know it's true. One thing is for sure, I cover the kid. You know, my coach used to tell me something. Worry when I don't talk about you. You wonder why Baker Mayfield last night was headbutting people, jumping around like a cheerleader? Because people stopped covering him. And when he did something great last night, everyone went nuts. He's back in the spotlight. Worry when you're not covering. That's when, as an athlete, you know you're not relevant anymore. Jalen could easily be one of the top 5 most relevant players in the NFL this year. Easily. Easily. And I say that with great respect to him. I have a difference of opinion. That's it. That's where it's at. Nothing more. Nothing of the sidebar dumb shit that social media and snowflakes try to add into it. You know, if you go over to the news and you watch people in the news, if you have a disagreement with a minority congressman or senator, you're automatically a racist. You see, the one great thing in sports, whether you're black, white, or whatever, it's about scoreboard. Scoreboard. I'll consent to this, and I'll concede to this. Jalen's winning right now on the Big Sill scoreboard. Jalen's in the beginning of the fourth quarter now, and he's got a lead on me. That's a fact. I'm not dumb not to say that. Jalen's got a lead on me going into the fourth. Can he keep it? And by the way, I'm not betting against him. I'm here to watch the story play out. I'm not rooting against him. Why would I root against him when it helps my show? Some people just don't understand that component when we're talking sports here. It's okay because people's passions get the best of them. I'm a prime example of that. Okay? Prime example. Let's do it now. Let's get into Eagles and Giants. 27-14, I'm going to bury the lead. Philadelphia Eagles win this game. Help me out here. Am I right when I make this comment about the Giants? Have the Giants scored more than 30 points this year in any ball game? Have they scored 30 points or more this year? Could someone help me out on that? Have they scored 30 points? I don't think they have. Maybe I'm wrong, but they have not scored 30 or more points this year. Where are they going to get these points to beat the Eagles on Sunday? I don't see them scoring more than 14 points. 27-14. I mean, they had the worst scoring offense last year. As much as Brian Daboll and his coaching staff have done a great job this year, end of the day, they're still not putting a lot of light bulbs up and lighting them light bulbs up. They're just not lighting up the scoreboard. I don't see it. Hurts is coming off a 4-touchdown game. He was great in that game. 380 against the Titans and a well-coached football team. As a matter of fact, I think the Titans and the Giants have a lot in common. I'll get to that here in a minute. Now, I do think the Giants have a couple good coaches in the building. Brian Daboll, Wink Martindale. I think they've turned completely around the Giant culture. Dave Gettleman had lit that place on fire since he took over for Jerry Reese. I thought Jerry Reese was a really good general manager there. He worked with Tom Coughlin. They did a hell of a job, in my opinion. Hey, 5-star, where are they getting the 14 points from? I'm just assuming that they're going to get it. I mean, seriously, I'm with you, man. I don't see the Giants. Don't they haven't put 30 or more points up this year all season long? And you're going to do that against the best team in the league? I don't think so. I just don't. Here's the most, by the way, let me throw this at you here. Who do you guys think is going to be the most important player in this game against the Giants on Sunday, not named Jalen Hurts? Yeah, hey, Kafka's good too. He is. Kafka's good. He's a good coach too. He absolutely is. I like the coaching staff. Tell me who you think is the most important. Jordan Davis, Anthony says. Miles Sanders. Jeremy, why Miles Sanders? Tell me, Jeremy, why you think Miles Sanders is the most important. Tony says Nakobe Dean. Boy says Miles. James Bradbury's looking for revenge. I like these games in back-to-back weeks where you have a little bit of animosity towards players, towards a certain team that allowed them to walk out the building. I like that. Last week it was AJ. This week it's got to be Bradbury. Boston Scott, Giant Killer. D-line. James, you said Miles Sanders. Why is Miles Sanders, in your opinion, the most important player in this game on Sunday? Not named Hurts. Why do you guys think? I know Wink Martindale, and I know his thought process going into this game. Bob says Miles is the most important because he gives the offense true balance in the running game. Hurts needs to be able to throw against this secondary. We're getting there, JM. Let me go here with you. Wink Martindale is going to throw a shitload of blitzes at Jalen Hurts. They are going to come after, and they're not going to sit back, because I would make this proclamation to you about the Giants secondary. I think it's actually worse than the Titans secondary. I think there's a great opportunity here for Jalen again to have another big game in the air. Okay? I don't believe that secondary can hold up against that Eagle offense and their wide receivers. I do not believe that. And let me just put it to you this way. If Dallas Goedert were healthy, I think that Eagle team could put a 50-burger on them. Okay? But you don't have that guy setting the edge. And it's been a factor in pass protection and also your run game. They've come around, though, because Jalen has thought himself around that game plan. You're going to see a shitload of blitzes from Wink Martindale, and that's the only way they can get in the game and stay in the game. It's the only way they could stay in the game. They sit back, and what was one thing that the offensive line did great last week against the Titans? Even though they had those pre-snap penalties, dude, do you remember a Titan getting to Jalen Hurts last week? I thought he had a clean pocket the entire game against the Titans. Hey, Manster, Barkley doesn't play? Dude, it's 27-7. Jalen would be out in the third quarter. They had time to pass block, and Jalen was clean in the pocket. I think the Giant front seven's better as a unit than the Titans. I think the kid Thibodeau, I think the other guy outside of Williams is having a really good year. There's a couple guys in there that are really good and formidable defensive players. I'll tell you what, the guards are going to be tested in this game for the Eagles. Sayamalo and Dickerson are going to have two good football players on them. I just don't think it's enough. So what does Martindale have to do? Martindale's a good coordinator. And Dick, he did not throw Jeffrey Simmons around. You had 80 yards rushing. Don't get ahead of yourself. Okay? You didn't run the ball. Okay? That wasn't the case. I will give you this, though. They did a nice job on Simmons in pass protection. That they did do. Williams is out. Boy, I'll tell you what, man. They got a mass unit going over there in New York. I just don't see it. 27-14. I mean, if the Giants – now, look, here's something to pump the brakes on. It's a divisional game. You're always concerned with that. They know tendencies, all of that. And do me a favor, don't let Daniel Jones get out into perimeter and run like Jalen. Okay? Because he can. That's the one thing he has that is going to be leaned on, especially if Barkley's injured going into this game, is that Jones is going to run a lot. What linebacker can hang with Daniel Jones' speed? You don't have one. And Gardner Johnson's out. You know, when you have a spy or you have a Wolverine or you have a guy that's going to mirror the quarterback, he's got to have the game speed that quarterback has. You know what some of these teams are doing with Jalen Hurts that doesn't make sense to me? How could you have a spy on Jalen with a linebacker? He's going to outrun 95% of the linebackers. And the mismatch is in that spy. Because if you drop a safety down or a corner down on him to spy him, He's bigger and stronger than those guys. That's why I tell you, when teams have people and players like Ryan Shazier or a guy like Derek Brooks back in the day, remember Ryan Shazier with the Steelers? He could cover tight ends. He was 4'4" in the 40. Ryan Shazier was a massive loss when he got paralyzed. With the Steelers, I've always made this comment. As much as Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, when they left that building, took a lot of offense away, when Shazier got paralyzed, they took the heart of that defense away from Mike Tomlin. He was a great football player. He was a great football player. He was like the Gronk killer. Lose a guy like that, you can't replace him. You just can't replace him. Right? 40-3? Maybe. Danny Pennies? Bro, he's going to get the shit hit out of him in this game. Okay? He's going to get the shit hit out of him because he's going to be relied on to do a lot in this ball game to try to make it close. The Giants have to get this game into the fourth quarter. They really do. They have to make it a fourth quarter game. We're going to know immediately right out of the gate if the Giants have a chance in this game. I would say with the first three drives. First three drives, offensively and defensively. If the Eagles get 3 and outs on the Giants, it will be a long day. If the Eagles go right down the field on them, it's going to be an even longer day. Even longer day. Jeremy, I don't see them making it through halftime. I think that game could be over by halftime. Like, watch this. The score could be close, Jeremy. But we're all going to go like this. Well, if I'm watching a fist fight, the Eagles are beating them up. The only reason it's close is because we're only in the 6th round. You know what I mean? I just don't see the Giants having enough manpower to hang with them. I just don't see it. Wow, Texas Boy says 11-2, they dropped this game. 27-14. That's how I see this. I want to do something now. A little exercise with you. I think you'll enjoy this. The 2020 draft. The draft of Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts was the 53rd player taken. Let's redraft these quarterbacks and see if anything's changed. By the way, I'm not going with the stiffs after 53. I'm not saying Jalen's a stiff. But I'm looking at 5 quarterbacks. This is how they went. Joey B went number 1. Tua went number 5. Second quarterback taken. Number 3 at number 6 was Justin Herbert, Chargers. Number 4, Jordan Love at number 26, Packers. And number 5 at 53, Jalen Hurts. Here is how Big Sills would redraft that class of 2020. Number 1, Joey B. Oh, woo! Joe Burrow. That guy's going to make $50 million. Hey, what I love about Eagle fans want to pay Jalen 50. And that's the price tag Joe Burrow's getting. And you think they're the same? I don't know. I'm like looking at a Yugo or a 65 Impala versus a Dino, a Ferrari. I don't know about you. But if someone goes, Sills, I want you to pay for the Volkswagen. $50 million. Can I get the Ferrari, the Dino? Yeah. Well, give me the Dino. Give me the Dino. Same price? Why are you trying to sell me a Volkswagen? I don't want the Volkswagen for the same price. Give me Burrow. Jesus. $50 million. Who do you want? I don't want the VW. Why do I have to be forced to take the VW? Number 2, Justin Herbert, baby. Justin Herbert's going to make $50 million. He just needs a new coach. How can you be a defensive-minded coach in your defense with all the moves you made in the offseason is atrocious? Your quarterback's putting up historical numbers. Historical numbers. You got Derwin James, Joey Bosa. You got Khalil Mack. You made all these moves and you suck. Sean Payton is going to take that job, and Sean Payton is going to be Justin Herbert's coach. I guarantee it. And that guy's going to win Super Bowls because of Sean Payton. Sean Payton's going to be his coach in January. Then we'll see. Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley. Can I tell you who I see in Brandon Staley? Jonathan Gannon. Jonathan Gannon and Brandon Staley are the same dudes. And Jonathan Gannon will have the same success that Brandon Staley is having. Because let me say this to you. If Jonathan Gannon goes to a football team like the Carolina Panthers, he'll be fired in 2 years. Number 3, if I had to redo the 2020 NFL draft, at 3, I would take Jalen Hurts. I would probably take Jalen Hurts right where Jordan Love was taken at 26. Think about that. Think about what your quarterback has now done. He's gone from being a suspect number 53 pick where all of you hated the number 2 pick when he was initially picked in 2020, and you know it. You all hated it. And now, today, on December 9th, we're all good saying this. I'd take Jalen Hurts at number 26. The Jordan Love wouldn't be a first rounder. He'd be a 3rd or 4th. And here's what I would say with Tua. I think Tua would be in the 30s. I think he'd be in the 30s. So in that 2020 class, outside of Jordan Love getting his ass out, Jalen takes over for Jordan Love. And your 4 quarterbacks would be Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and Tua Tagovailoa. Instead of Burrow, Tua, Herbert, Love, Hurts going in the 2nd round. Pretty remarkable what Jalen has done. Jeremy, yo, Sills, what do you think the Eagles give Jalen Hurts? Hey, James, that's fair. I didn't hate the pick. I was confused by the pick because there were other needs on the team. Yeah, I didn't. Really. Go back and read all the boards and what people were posting. Tell me if you like that Jalen Hurts pick at number 2. Yeah, okay. Oh, my God. You know you're full of shit when you can't even admit your own self did those comments. That's when you know you're out of your mind. What do I give Jalen Hurts? Man, that's the $75 million question. It really is. To me, I think it's length and guarantee. Not so much in the annual number. I want my contract to resemble the guy in Cleveland's. But see, Hurts hasn't done anything yet to quantify that. He hasn't shown the ability yet where he's going to be a franchise. Jalen has not shown yet. He has for 12 games. That's a small sample. We started our program out yesterday. Almost 99% of everybody in Philadelphia was completely sold that Carson Wentz was the guy. You were all sold. So much so, your organization gave him $32 million a year. And he had a small sample size. You're going to do that again? Haven't you learned your lesson? Why don't you let things play out? Why don't you see what he wins? Dude, you want Dak Prescott? Dak Prescott wins a lot of games, puts a lot of numbers up. Does he win significant games? No. Don't be in that kind. You don't know yet. I don't know yet what Hurts is going to win. I don't know. You don't either, because he hasn't won anything. Some of you will go like this. Well, what has Herbert and Josh Allen won? The difference there is when I watch those guys play, I see a better player. That's why those guys are paid. They're better players. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to decipher that. Like, when you take weapons away from Patrick Mahomes and it doesn't matter, or you don't have a running game in Buffalo and it doesn't matter. You got bad coaching in Los Angeles with the Chargers, but the guy's still putting up historic numbers, and it doesn't matter. Jalen's playing the best football of his career. He's playing perfect MVP football. What happens when he's not? Can he carry a team? I don't think he can. I don't think he can. Both your receivers are out 1 week. You think you can win a ball game against the Dallas Cowboys? Absolutely not. Do I think Mahomes can? Yeah, I do. Do I think Burrow can? I do. Do I think Allen can? I do. If everybody was taken off those teams, I completely do. Now we want to take away players. No. I'm paying for guys that when adversity hits, we still win. Oh, let's pay. Dude, if that's the case, Kirk Cousins would be the highest paid player in the league. This guy's going to have another this guy's going to have 8 4,000-yard passing years in his career in Minnesota. 8 out of the last 11. 8 4,000. You got one dude that did it one time in franchise history. One. Numbers. Jimmy Garoppolo, you hate him. He's 45-19, and you don't want to pay him. And you hate him, and you wouldn't want him as a face. Okay. So what's the metric on you're going to pay? Guys, 11-1? Not good enough for me at all. Hurts better win a playoff game. Oh, absolutely. He was atrocious in the first one he played in, but that's okay. A lot of guys. I mean, look at Peyton Manning. If you look at Peyton Manning's postseason numbers, they're not very good. Oh, wait, I'll take it back. They're not as good as his regular season. Not even remotely close. Completion percentage, down 10 points. His one-loss record is terrible. I think it's 13-12. Not like he had massive amount of winning. Okay? Wow, so 11-1 means nothing? No. Because next year that schedule will be different. Getting home field advantage and winning the NFC East matters. Yes. Okay. What's this guy's name? Mask. What's more important to you? Being 14-3 or winning the East and winning home field advantage? What's more important to you? Your record or home field advantage? Home field advantage. I don't care what that record says. I have no caring what the record says. I care for home field advantage, winning my division, and getting to the conference championship game. That's why you pay guys. And that's why when you look at certain dudes that you think can get you to that game, You pay him the money. Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray. How about the guy we watched last night making $38 million and Derek Carr? Would you pay Derek Carr $38 million? Would you pay Derek? So wait a minute here. Derek Carr has put up some pretty good numbers, been a top 10 quarterback the last 5 years, numbers-wise. Would you pay Derek Carr $38 million? Would you pay Derek Carr $38 million? Would you want Derek Carr as your quarterback? He's not bad. But $38 million? Sills, that's the market value. No. Franchise tag is going to be $32 million. So we're kind of in the room there. I'm all right with paying Derek Carr that. Derek Carr hasn't won either. And what makes it worse is that he's not winning regular season games. This is where Jalen has the advantage. He's winning regular season games. The only reason we're in the conversation of big money is because they are 11-1. But that'll come back if they get bounced. Hey, Sills, they only lost 3 games and got bounced in the opening round. Okay, Dak 2.0. I'm not paying. My problem with Derek Carr is, I don't know. He's $32 million or it's $38 million. Derek Carr makes $38 million? Shit, I don't see it. I would have, watch this. I'm going to win more games with Garoppolo, paying him $25 million, saving $18 or $16 million on my cap so I can go get a wideout. Sign me up for Jimmy G any day. I'm going to get the same winning and Devonta Adams and keep Josh Johnson or keep the running back and keep everybody in the building and win the same amount of games with Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, but Sills, he's not. How many Mahomeses are there? 1? That's why when you start paying these guys, you got to think about, remember, it's a team sport, friends. It's a team sport. It's a team sport. The quarterback that figured that out the most, and guys, do I think Jalen is going to take top dollar? No. I don't. Because he knows and he does a lot of the same shit. And I'm going to tell you a little secret. I had a conversation with Tom House. Remember, who was the first guy to report to you that Jalen Hurts was working with Tom House? Xander, am I right when I say, hey, there's reports that Jalen Hurts is working with Tom House in Southern California? I did that in March or like February. That he was working with nobody in Philly believed it. Came out a couple months later that it turned out to be true. Okay? Can I tell you what Tom House told me? He did more talking about how Brady was able to win so much more so than any other quarterback in the history of the sport. You know what he said? Brady always took haircuts and his salary. Brady's a guy that reinvested in himself. Instead of taking back in the day $35 million, he took $25 million or $26 million in New England. And you know what he would do with the other 10? They would keep Darrelle Revis. They would keep offensive linemen. They would keep Gronkowski. They would pay Edelman and Amendola or Welker. What happened with Brady and Belichick at the end was they stopped doing that. That's what pissed them off. Look at it now. Who are the playmakers in New England? They don't have any. Okay? They don't. This isn't New England. You can only pray you were New England. Look at this idiot. They got 6 banners. 6. 6 banners because of the way they did business. This is a copycat league, guy. Yeah, I know. You're damn right, Mask. It's not New England. You light the team on fire every 3 years. How he lights the team on fire. Takes it out back, throws it in the trash can, lights it on fire. Come January, the team will be lit on fire again. You got 16 free agents and a quarterback you got to pay. Congratulations. That's quite. Then again, he likes being the rock star, though. Showtime goes, I think Jalen will take something in the 30s. Showtime, so you think he's going to take the same amount of money that Justin Jefferson's going to be offered in Minnesota? Not likely. Clutch Sports is not going to go there with that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Do I think that? We'll get to week 14 predictions, too. We'll do that at the top. By the way, my boy Jason Cole has an MVP vote. We're going to ask him in hour number 3 who he's voting for. There's going to be some interesting ball games to watch this week. I'll be watching that Cowboy game versus the Texans. Be interesting to see because the teams that the Cowboys have been playing lately, they've been killing. And those are the teams that the Eagles, I don't want to say struggle, but kind of kept them in the ball game. Okay? I'm awake. When you come into the Linc, Sills, you're welcomed. Hey, man, let me say this to you. I posted some pictures over on my Twitter page of me being at the Linc. I've been there. How many times I've been to Philadelphia and the Linc? Oh, by the way, did you see me with the Philadelphia police? We had them in my cousin has a suite at Lincoln Financial. Hey, Bob, I forgot that. Bob, Eagles. My cousin's company has a suite at Lincoln Financial for Eagle games. Come on, guys. He spends $400,000 a year for it. Come on, man. I've been in that suite a bunch of times. I actually watched the game with David Robinson. I posted a picture. My cousin, Allison, is with David Robinson and the Philadelphia police. We had them all come in and sit in there. I think we had 2 Medal of Honor winners. And we watched the Army-Navy game. Yeah. And then the next day, I think the Eagles played. It was really cool. I had the whole entire Philadelphia police in there. They're sitting out front of the suite there at the Linc, right? I stick my head out. I go, what are you guys doing? We had a ton of food, all kinds of shit in there. I posted pictures of it. All kinds of stuff, man. There was gourmet food everywhere. It was a wonderful time. Wonderful time. Oh, my God. I took my cousins down to meet Trump. They met Trump. He showed up at the game. Brought him down, met a couple 5-star generals. Secretary of the Navy came in and sat with us. Roger Staubach, Pete Dawkins came in. Honestly, I had to post pictures because no one would believe it. So then the police, the Philly police are out there, and I go, come on in, get in here. And my cousin Joe Nagro, who is the CEO of this company, he said, yeah, come on in. There was about 10 of them. And they all came into the suite. We had a fabulous time. Cops were sitting there. They couldn't drink. They just ate. It was a blast. Man, by the way, I love the Philadelphia police gear. They look great. Those leather jackets, they were fabulous, man. Absolutely. Look at Scott. MAGA! No, the president was the president at the time. I just happened to be there. And the Secretary of the Navy and the commander, or what was it, the commandant of West Point brought us down to meet the president. Sorry, dude. I'm not that guy. I don't give a shit. Okay, the president of the United States. I'd go meet Joe Biden. I'd go meet Biden. He's the president of the United States. I don't care. Back to blue, baby. I loved it, man. That was a great time. Sileo's a rat to the cops. Yeah, I am. If I see a crime, I'll report it. You're damn right. If I see an injustice, would I report it? You're damn right. You're damn right. because I don't like people taking advantage of other people. Absolutely. Speaking of that, I do think the Eagles are going to take advantage of the New York Giants on Sunday. I do think that. I think Brian Dable has done a really nice job. I think he's done a hell of a job with the New York Giants. I think Wink Martindale is going to blitz as much as he possibly can Jalen Hurts. And I do think the running backs this week have quite a chore ahead of them. In my opinion, blocking and picking up blitzing is going to be essential. And to me, that means, again, Miles Sanders, he's probably the best blocking back they have. So if you don't see a lot of yards this week and Jalen throws for 375 yards, you can almost guarantee the third guard that's in the huddle was Miles Sanders. Okay? Too many injuries on the New York sideline right now. Martell, I do think too. I think he's going to. It's going to be here. This is how I would game. If I'm the Eagles, I almost throw in the same game plan that I had against the Titans. Okay? Because what's the number one thing that the Giants can do? They can stop the run. They're not as efficient as the Titans, but they can. And I think they're a little bit better pass rushers. Okay? I think they're a little bit better in the pass rushing. But I think their secondary is less than what I saw last week against the Titans. So to me, A.J. Brown all day. I don't think the New York Giants have anybody that can cover him. I think A.J. Brown might have his best game of his career. I don't see anyone in New York that can defend him. I just don't. Big Sills fan club, I got one? Holy cow, Xander. Yeah. Dude, if no Barkley, man. Hey, no Barkley, I get the lead. I take my dudes out in the third. Okay? I take them out because I don't need anybody injured. I need guys as healthy as I can. And again, know this, guys. I'll make a point to you too. The record is not important. Home field advantage is important. You need all of your players healthy for Christmas Eve. Okay? You need all your players healthy for Christmas Eve. Remember I said that. You want Goddard's coming back next week. Avonte Maddox is back this week. I wish to God they could get Gardner Johnson back. I don't think he'll be back for that game. Jordan Davis will have more snaps. Okay? 11 wins is not important compared to home field advantage. Getting the bye and winning the East. No, I could give a shit about your record. I care more about winning the East. Hey, I'm not going to say it again. Last time. Winning the East, home field advantage, the playoffs run through Philly, like in 17. It's all you need. All you need. Whatever that looks like. No one cares. You have the playoffs in your grasp right now. Okay, I'm going to ask a question here about Jalen. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you think the national perception is of Jalen Hurts? You think the country knows who he is? You think the country respects his game? 3, 7, 10. Yeah, okay. 6, Brian, 0. What do you think? I mean, On a scale of 1 to 10 when it comes to popularity. Let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at the most popular players. Top 5. Here are the top 5 players in the NFL. This is just according to the fans. Tagovailoa, 2023 Pro Bowl top vote getters. Tua, Justin Jefferson, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce. You got a wide receiver and a tight end. That's more popular than your guy in Philly. Pretty much what I thought. The guy's going fake news. These are the top vote getters for the Pro Bowl. Your guy's not in it. But he's the top vote getter for the quarterback play in the NFC because there's such great play this year. These are your most popular players, according to the fans around the country. This is not a big Sills thing. 2023 Pro Bowl top 5 vote getters. There they go. Where's Jalen? Dude, the guy Tagovailoa? A wideout and a tight end. Look at that. A wideout and a tight end are more popular than your guy. Oh, what's the take? I don't get it. Here it comes. Here comes the take. I think Jalen Hurts has played as consistent and as good a football as anybody in this league, including Mahomes. He has arguably been, for 12 weeks, the most consistent quarterback. Has he put up those gaudy numbers that Patrick Mahomes has? No. He doesn't have a shiny star yet. No one looks at him as a superstar. They look at him as a future star. And what happens with future stars? They're still suspect on them because they could be shooting stars like Wentz. The reason that Jalen Hurts doesn't have a shiny star like the rest of these guys, because he hasn't won anything significant. He hasn't beaten any quarterback of significance. He hasn't beat Brady. He beat Rodgers. And I don't care the team was down. That's a significant win. That goes on your pelt. And Scott goes, same as Herbert. I think people look at the gaudy numbers, and it's why it masks the fact that he's 6-6. Because when they look at the prolific, dude, half the league are fantasy football fans too, and I get it. And I think that's why Jalen is. Hey, by the way, I think his Char's getting brighter and brighter every week. You got me wrong here. I'm not saying that he's never going to. I think his star is getting brighter and brighter every week. I completely think that. But this is a one-year wonder right now. Actually, it's a 12-game wonder. That's why people aren't sold nationally. It's 12 games. How could you be a star in 12 games? You can't be. Unless you win significant games. Here's where I'm going. That game on December 24th, how much will it matter to the team by then? I don't know. I think the Eagles have a good shot at going into that game with one loss. Cowboys got 3, you know. The only other team you got to kind of be concerned about is Minnesota, and you've got the tiebreaker against them. So if you tie with them, they have 2 losses, you have 2 losses, you're still going to get home field. The Vikings aren't really the concern. And I'm not saying to you the Cowboys are. So I think you're going to be okay. But what I do think is this. That game on Christmas Eve, the entire country is going to watch Jalen Hurts against the Dallas Cowboys. Do you know that Packer game with the Dallas Cowboys drew 35 million people with streaming and network television. 35 million. Watch those two teams play. You're going to have probably a 11-3 team versus like a 13-1 team. That thing on Christmas Eve is going to get gargantuan numbers. Gargantuan. Jalen Hurts has a chance to put himself on center stage for people outside of Philly. I'll tell you what I agree with you guys. I love how you revere your athletes in your city. It's unlike any other city in the country outside of maybe Boston. Chicago too. Okay? When you play in Philly, Boston, and Chicago, and you are stars in those respected cities, they revere you and love you, build statues to you. Okay? There's no question. And that's why you always look at New York and Los Angeles and go, why do those teams always get the love? Because that's where the media is. That's where the clicks are. That's where the notoriety is. Odell Beckham, look at what he's talking about doing. He's either going to go to Dallas or he's going to go to the New York Giants. Why? Marketing. He ain't going for championships. He's already got it. This guy wants to go back to New York. He wants to be on Madison Avenue. Market Street, Madison Avenue. Okay? Going down Broad, going down Madison Avenue. It's different in the nation's eyes. Jalen Hurts, that game matters to him because then people will look at him and watch his versatility for the first time, really. You see the nation, you know what they know about Jalen Hurts? He lost his job in Alabama, and he's playing pretty good ball right now. That's how they see your guy. Oh, he's 11-1? Then you start looking at the schedule, and you start picking away at it. It's like a scab. You start picking at it. Well, he's not really those guys. You see his rushing touchdowns? Nobody gives a shit about rushing touchdowns from the quarterback position. There is no franchise quarterback in the NFL that stat matters to, except your guy. Do you understand that? There's nobody in the NFL where you do this. Hey, Mahomes, man, he has a shitload of rushing touchdowns. You see Joe Burrow take off? Nobody gives a shit about that. And I can't stand the comment when people make about, why don't you throw Allen in that conversation? Because Allen is a 10 times more gifted passer. 10 times, not close. Greg Cosell calls Josh Allen one of the top 5 talents he's ever seen at the quarterback position. I don't remember that in assessment being thrown at Jalen Hurts' feet. The reason he went in the second round. Cam Newton, Michael Vick. Cam won kind of. Michael Vick didn't win shit. It didn't matter to Lamar. What's Lamar won so far with that style? He's won a regular season MVP, a boatload of games, and nothing in the postseason. You're right. He's got a lot in common. The only difference is Lamar's a better passer. Lamar's led the NFL in touchdown passes. He threw for 36. He was a unanimous MVP. Like Jalen would have to be this year a unanimous MVP and lead the NFL in touchdown passes. And gain 1,100 yards. And go 14-2. He has a chance at that. That's it. None of those other numbers. Here, this guy goes, what does Herbert and Allen won? Well, as I said yesterday, Scott, this is the first year he's on the $43 million contract. He's got the number 1 seed in the AFC right now. He's on schedule. We'll see how it finishes. We'll see where the Bills land up. He's in the same, watch this. You want to know something? Josh Allen has 19 turnovers, and he's in the same position Jalen's in. The number 1 seed in their conference. He's not playing flawless football. He's still the number 1 seed. Your guy's playing flawless football, and they got the number 1 seed. And they got two less losses than he does. Making it sound like Josh Allen's not 9-3. Dumb. He's in the same position. With all those turnovers and some of the games they gave away, like Minnesota. And they're still the top seed in the AFC. Who has a better record? Doesn't matter, Kai. Home field advantage, win your division, playoffs run through Buffalo. What will it matter? Watch this. Well, Jalen had a better record. He only lost 2 games, and Allen lost 3. Who went further in the playoffs? Oh, Allen did. Oh. Sounds like the Eagles not 11-1. No, the Eagles right now are the top seeded. Dude, I don't care about the record. I care the Eagles are the top seed in the East and in the NFC. It's great. They're the top seed. That's all I look at. Like the loss to Washington, at the end of the day, does it really matter? Everyone goes back and picks that scab of Washington. To me, I go back and do this. So, what do you make of the loss to the Washington Commanders? It's a nothing burger. It's a nothing burger. They didn't really get killed. Wasn't their best effort. But that's the one thing the Eagles have done this year. They're not going to get killed. They're not going to have because you know why? They're the most complete team because you ain't paying your guys shit. I've told you this before. The reason the Eagles are in the position they're in because the quarterback makes nothing. Watch this. Let me show you. This is even funnier. Jalen Hurts is the lowest paid guy in your huddle. Do you understand that? Jalen Hurts is the lowest paid guy in your offensive huddle. He's the lowest paid guy. That's remarkable. Every O-lineman makes more. The receivers make more. And the back makes more. And the backup quarterback. Seriously, it's the hidden gem here. Martell, that's another one. Jalen's not flashy. He doesn't have the spectacular. Okay, but when you watch him play like we do, you come away doing this. Man, 1 week, 153. Next week, 380. I don't care who you are. If you don't respect that, you're stupid. I do. I told you this before, and I'll say it again to you. This guy thinks himself around a game plan, and I'm comfortable saying this, in the same breath as Tom Brady. His smarts on how smart he is, you see it in his approach. He's a brilliant guy, man. Jalen Hurts is a brilliant dude. He takes all the things that he does well and all the shit he doesn't do well, and he compartmentalizes it. And then he puts it together with a game plan. He's as good as it gets with that. Here, let me give you an example of this. Jay Cutler couldn't think himself around a game plan to save his life. Jay Cutler had some of the best talent on the planet. But he couldn't think himself around a game plan to save his freaking life. How many times you watch certain guys play ball and you do this? There's always... We make this comment about Garoppolo all the time. Okay? You know what we say about him? Jimmy G's going to throw the football to the opposing guy at least twice in a game. You know the one thing that Garoppolo started doing this year that I had never seen him do? I saw Jimmy G throwing the ball away. See, Brady knew that. Punting, field position, time of possession, all of that were going to play a massive role in his success. And that's why Brady made a living dinking and dunking. Brady does low percentage passing. Jalen Hurts does low percentage passing. His wheels afford him that ability. Really, 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 really good. That game on December 24th, though, could be the game that helps him win a Most Valuable Player award. Okay? That game could win him the MVP because you're going to have voters in Chicago, Los Angeles, Seattle, who just look at box scores, see 152 yards throwing. They'll see the occasional 300-yard game. Blake Bortles threw for 500 yards. It doesn't impress these writers. The 11-1 does. How can the Bills have the great roster with the quarterback and wide receiver contract that they have? Because they've got Isaiah. They're not paying a running back. There's no running back on that team. And they're thin in the O-line. That's how. Look at the O-line you're paying. $10 million, Kelsey. $7.5 million. Dickerson's going to be up for a deal. You're going to cut, or you're going to move on from Isaiah, right? Isaac Seumalo, you're moving on from. He makes $5.5. Lane Johnson makes $10. Don't you realize and don't you remember once they started paying Russell Wilson that money? First the center went. Then the left guard went. Then the tackle went. They started losing O-linemen up and down the line. That's why there's holes in all those teams, dude. You don't have a hole in your team because your quarterback is on the soup kitchen line. Those other guys are on Madison Avenue shopping for Rolexes. Jalen Hurts is wearing a Timex. That's why you don't have any holes on your team. It's the only reason. Are there holes in Kansas City? No wideouts. But they got Kelsey. I know. They let the best wideout in the planet go. Green Bay has no wideouts. They let Devonta Adams go. Jeb goes, I'm perfectly fine with that. Well, Clutch Sports won't be. Clutch Sports won't be. I can promise you that. Man, do we have a lot to get to here. God, let's see here. T.O. wants to come back. Bradbury and the Giants. I got a great insight here for you. Tampa Bay, San Francisco will be interesting to look at here too. How about that top Pro Bowl voting? Hurts is nowhere to be seen. That's why that December 24th game is totally going to matter. It's totally going to matter. Hour number 2, we'll take a look at week 14. Little bit from last night's game, too, as the Rams come back and win against the Raiders. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. Hour 2. Keep it here on the National Football Show.